Businesses are not machines that you can just fix. Instead, they're made up of people. So how do you engage and lead people through change with less drama, fewer surprises, and better results? 2 steps. First, you form 1 or more teams. And second, you convene people in those teams to engage in 7 critical conversations that every team needs to have in order to effectively lead change and to become higher performing. And this video series will give you the tools to do that. This particular video focuses on the first of these 7 conversations, purpose. The driving question behind the purpose conversation is, are we a strong team with a clear purpose? In this video, you will see how the purpose conversation sets the foundation for all of the other 7 critical conversations. The topic here is the anatomy of purpose, 4 statements. And the tools I will introduce are the 4 different kinds of purpose statements. So let's dive in. Is your team's purpose clear? How do you know? Why should you care? You should care because teams with weak purposes are easily pulled in conflicting directions. Disruptive changes like new organizational structures or strategies will unbalance and tear teams with unclear purposes apart. My point, teams with shared purposes have a shared North Star, a foundation for transparent, authentic fun, and are better at leading change. The setup is, I'm on a video conference with Paul, the CEO of a pharmaceutical company. His last comment was, my company is bleeding cash, our investors are nervous, and I need my team focused on entering new markets and exiting old markets now. I continue this conversation by asking, does your team have formal mission and vision statements? Absolutely, he says, but then he looks doubtful. What's your concern, I ask. Don't get me wrong, but I'm skeptical. Our mission and vision statements haven't been much use addressing our current crisis. I understand, I say. I've met a lot of executives who were disillusioned with the usefulness of their team's mission and vision statements. The challenges you are facing are not exactly the kind that mission and vision statements are designed to resolve. Instead, I suspect your team might need a different kind of purpose statement, called an operational purpose statement. Do you have one of those, I ask? I'm not sure, he says. Okay, let's look into that, I say, and then continue. Take a look at this diagram. It shows the 4 different kinds of purpose statements. Each is focused on a different core question. Mission. What promise of value is your reason for being? The focus here is to describe your team's winning idea that drives growth and return. Vision. What inspiring outcomes will occur from serving your mission perfectly? The focus here is to make a declaration out loud that connects emotionally and spiritually in a non-religious way and energizes employees, vendors, investors, and others. Values. To accomplish your mission and vision, what do you choose to believe and how do you choose to behave? The focus here is to make commitments that set the trajectory of the business culture that you want to build. And operational purpose. What core activities are essential to serving current and future customers? The focus here is to clarify the key activities and roles required to serve your customers. It is for all players on your team to have clear lines of sight to your customers' expectations. Together, these 4 kinds of purpose statements are a framework to guide the nature, direction, and alignment of your team. So, why should you invest your team's precious time in proving purpose statements? The reason is to set goals and effectively produce results as a team, your team needs to make aligned choices. And purpose statements are a great tool for systematically shaping and guiding how your team makes choices in an aligned way. Paul nods and then says, I think I see the pattern. My team has choices to make, including key strategic choices around customers, products, services, processes, and metrics for success. And these 4 statements will help us to make those choices while also making it easier for me to delegate. For example, one key choice is what products and services will we offer and to whom? This diagram implies that we should apply our mission statement for guidance with that kind of decision. Why? Because to make that choice, we need clarity around the promise of value that is our reason for being, which should be in our mission statement. Or, for example, my team has to make choices around the kinds of employees we want to hire. This diagram implies that we should apply our vision statement. Why? Because we want to hire employees who are truly inspired by our vision statement. Exactly. I decide to build on his thoughts. From experience, if I were you, I wouldn't expect to get these 4 purpose statements right the first time you draft them. Their true value is that they're living documents that your team regularly revisits and refines. Paul nods. For fun, I suggest, let's apply this diagram to check your team's purpose for holes. Which of these 4 statements do you see as most and least clear for your team? He replies, my team is most clear around mission and vision. We've already done significant work on those. Somewhat clear around values, we have done a little work on that, and least clear around operational purpose. We haven't done much work there yet. In any case, he continues, I now see what you were talking about. Our current challenge pivoting out of old markets and into new markets has more to do with operational purpose than the other 3 statements. Why do you say that, I ask? He continues. Our challenge is to shift roles and activities from old into new markets. However, we aren't yet aligned around our operational purpose. We aren't on the same page as a team around the question, what core activities are essential to serving our current and future customers? That makes sense to me, I reply. Let's test your assumptions. In this video, you just learned about how to apply the 4 kinds of purpose statements to quickly identify the holes in your team's purpose. And you learned how each has a different function in guiding and aligning key decisions that impact how effectively your team operates as a team. But this video hasn't answered a very important question. What then are you supposed to do once you find a hole in your team's purpose? The answer is draft the right kind of purpose statement required to fix it. The next video will help you to do that by taking you through examples. Now, click on the button or tab associated with this video to get a link to the next video. In that video, I look forward to making the 4 types of purpose statements clearer for you by showing you an example in which mission, vision, values, and operational purpose statements are interconnected. The truth is, teams with weak purposes are easily pulled in conflicting directions. Disruptive changes can easily tear teams with unclear purposes apart. However, a well-designed purpose cleans this up.